But I'm curious what Mheshimiwa Ndiritu Mureithi makes of the installation of Sabina Chege as the party leader by the Kanini Kega faction of Jubilee.
Oh, it's frankly a heap of rubbish. You know, parties are institutions that work within rules and laws. You see, you and I, for example, on this show, you know, you can declare yourself president or I can declare myself, but it doesn't make us that. If you look at one of the headlines there, Treasury has come out to say that the idea of, I mean, this section that people keep quoting that can deny, you know, a Kenyan who has left their responsibility, say as prime minister or president, their benefits because they are engaged in political activity has already been declared unconstitutional. And the Treasury has moved ahead with that. So the very basis that these other fellows were using to claim that they have removed their party leader has already been shown to be false. In any case, Sabina is actually not a member of Jubilee. Now, by operation of law, if you read the constitution of Jubilee, and I think the registrar of political parties can confirm that to you, the day back in October when this you know, individual and others decided to associate with another political party and promote its policies, that is the day they ceased to be members of Jubilee. And that is Article 6 of the Jubilee Party Constitution. So all that we are seeing is theatrics, and I would expect that in the fullness of time, as the law takes its course, they themselves will be out of parliament because they have no basis. Like the individual you raise is nominated by Jubilee, and once you cease to be a member of a party, how can they nominate you to parliament? So really, it's a heap of rubbish, and I don't think it is worth the airtime. Let's deal with the economy.
All right. But you do know there are two sections to this law. There is Section 4 that talks about the needing a 2/3 majority vote in Parliament to revoke, as it were, those parks. But there's also Section 6, now which gives the 6-month time limit. What
the Treasury has pointed out to the National Assembly is that that act is unconstitutional because it limits the right of an individual to associate and so on. I mean, that is the headline. If you look at the story behind the headline of the Star, that's what the story is explaining. Yeah? When it
is page 6 of
yes,
the Star.
Treasury counters, that's what Treasury is explaining.
What I'm reading here is, but in a new twist, Treasury in the Finance Bill 2023 seeks to do away with Section 4 of the Retirement Benefits, that is Deputy Presidents and Designated Officers Act of 2015. And if they do that, Section 6 would still apply.
Well, I think go deeper into the detail, but what you will find is that you see, an act of parliament is subordinate to the Constitution. The Constitution guarantees all Kenyans the right to associate and the right to political activity and so on. And so this act was found to be unconstitutional. And you already see that in practice, you know, retired Prime Minister or former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, former Vice President Musalia Mudavadi, and all the other, they are beneficiaries of this act, and their benefits have been paid, and therefore you cannot, for example, single out one particular individual. But the truth is that this particular section or the attempt to limit is unconstitutional, and Treasury has acted within law and properly so. But as I said, frankly, I consider it as a bit of hot air. We should go back to the economy. Jubilee will follow its rules. they will go to an NDC and clean up their shop. I would expect that Sabina and her colleagues will soon be out of the seats that they have, courtesy of having been former members of Jubilee. But as I said, I really would, we should leave it there.
Okay.
Because it means nothing or rather, the real issues facing Kenyans are high cost of living and proposed taxation tabled yesterday that is going to make that cost of living even higher. What these other people are fighting about is whether they got seats, whether they got plum chair positions within committees of parliament. I mean, what has that got to do with bringing down the cost of fuel? Whether somebody was made chair of a committee in parliament and whether they feel shortchanged because they did not get those chairmanships. So we should leave that, frankly, Olive, and focus on what matters to Kenyans. Every person who has spoken to me across this country about Jubilee has really negative things to say about the behavior of individuals who have risen to position, courtesy of Jubilee, then attempting to basically hawk that responsibility to the ruling coalition for personal gain. I mean, that is not leadership, frankly, that is political conmanship.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just for clarity, so I can move us along to the questions on counties. Just for clarity, you've had us reference Section 4 and Section 6 of the Presidential Retirement Benefits Act of 2003. Section 4, which Treasury is seeking to, according to this story in The Star, seeking to do away with, is the one that states, notwithstanding the provisions of Section 3, the National Assembly may, on a motion supported by the votes of not less than 2/3 of the members thereof, resolve that a retired president or his surviving spouse, as the case may be, shall not be entitled to the whole or any part of the benefits conferred by this act on the grounds that the retired president, and we go to the Section 1B, no, actually, 1B. Held office or is held office in or actively engaged in the activities of any political party contrary to the provisions of Section 6. And perhaps it could be argued that if you do away with 4, you do away with 6. But let's take a look at 6. 6 states that the role of a retired president shall not hold office in any political party for more than 6 months after ceasing to hold office as president. I will leave that there and get us into Matters County, but there's something I also wanted your thoughts on, Mheshimiwa Kero.
Pull up the Constitution. I mean, you see, you have to...
Constitution of Kenya,
and
freedom of association,
Article
36,
and political rights and so on, so that you see why that whole Section 4 and Section 6 of the Retirement Act is deemed as an affront, and that is what the Treasury is curing in the finance bill.
All right, so this is what the Constitution says. Article 36, every person has the right to freedom of association, which includes the right to form, join, or participate in the activities of an association of any kind. This is the Mwakenya that Roslino Bala gave me yesterday. If there's another provision, do please reach out and share it. My Twitter handle is @obarrows, or you can tweet @NTV Kenya. But there is something that I wanted to get Mheshimiwa Kero's